Welcome. This webinar will be providing information on the upcoming changes to the supply of veterinary medicines into Northern Ireland when the current Windsor Framework grace period comes to an end on the 31st of December. It will focus on the changes that are applicable to wholesalers and retailers. So you may ask yourself, what is changing? From the 1st of January, there will be a need to repeat batch testing and release activities for veterinary products that originate from or transit through Great Britain. The exception to this rule is for products that are moved from Great Britain under the Veterinary Medicines Internal Market Scheme, or for those products which are sent to Northern Ireland directly from the EU. There are transitional arrangements in place that allow veterinary medicines to continue to be supplied into Northern Ireland from Great Britain, providing the products have been QP released and they are subject to an offer or agreement of sale before the 1st of January 2026. The offer of sale or agreement can be either a written or verbal agreement. From the 1st of January, wholesalers and retailers based in Northern Ireland must source veterinary medicines from within Northern Ireland or the EU. They can no longer source products directly from Great Britain. There is an exception where wholesalers can move medicines, not including vaccines, from Great Britain under the Veterinary Medicines Internal Market Scheme, which works in line with the prescribing cascade. Veterinary medicines sourced under the Veterinary Medicines Health Situation Scheme, which does include vaccines, are supplied direct from the EU. From the 1st of January, wholesalers and retailers who are based in Great Britain may only supply veterinary medicines to the holder of an appropriate manufacturing authorisation. This is because there is a need to repeat batch test and release activities. Again, there is an exception for not having to repeat batch testing and release for products sourced under the Veterinary Medicines Internal Market Scheme or veterinary medicines sourced directly from the EU under the Veterinary Medicine Health Situation Scheme. So how do you recognise if a veterinary medicine is licensed for the Northern Ireland market? On the product labelling, you will see a VM, which stands for Veterinary Medicine Number. The first part of the number is specific to the licence holder. This is preceded by a unique 4-digit product number. Products with a number that start with a 4 are authorised for both Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Product numbers starting with a 5 are for GB only, and product numbers starting with a 3 are for Northern Ireland only. You will most likely see both a 3 and a 5,000 product number on a large number of medicines, and the inclusion of both numbers indicates that the product can be sold on the UK-wide market. Products that have an EU prefix are authorised via the European centralised procedure. So what does this mean for you? I will now give you a few examples of how the changes will impact in practical terms. So, what does it mean for me as a pet owner who usually purchases veterinary prescription drugs online? My understanding is I can no longer purchase the medicines I need for my dog from a GB online retailer. I am worried about increased costs of having to purchase medicines directly from my vet, as my dog needs long-term medication and I may not be able to afford it. Well, you are correct in your understanding that as of the 1st of January you will no longer be able to purchase your veterinary prescriptions from an online pharmacy that is based in Great Britain. But from extensive stakeholder engagement, we are aware of several veterinary medicine online pharmacies that are setting up business branches in Northern Ireland who will be able to fulfil your prescription requests. So your question might be, as a suitably qualified person that works in retail, I am concerned that there will be a reduction in the availability of suitable product pack sizes, and I will therefore be unable to meet my customer needs, especially those with a smaller number of animals, and I may find myself in a position of not having access to the smaller packs. The answer is that VMD do already have processes in place for dealing with a potential lack of suitable pack sizes. This is an issue that is seen across the whole of the UK from time to time and is not unique to Northern Ireland. SQPs and other prescribers have the ability to split packs, noting that doing so does not include broaching the product's immediate packaging for SQPs. As set out in paragraph 7c of the Schedule 3 to the Veterinary Medicines Regulation, prescribers can also prescribe a larger quantity of medicine than needed should small pack sizes be unavailable. Another question, as a wholesaler, can the VMD advise if all pack sizes of veterinary medicines will be available for me to purchase? The answer being the VMD are aware of concerns around the future availability of medicine pack sizes. This is one aspect of supply that we have been and continue to monitor very closely. We are not seeing changes at a systemic level and therefore ask you to inform us should you encounter a significant increase in costs and encourage you to talk directly to your suppliers about their future supply plans. Another common question is, can a wholesaler or retailer that is based in Great Britain fulfil a prescription for a customer based in Northern Ireland for a Northern Ireland authorised veterinary medicine? The answer is yes, but only if the recipient can perform the required repeat batch testing and release activities once the product has moved into Northern Ireland. Again, products that are sourced under either the veterinary medicines internal market or health situation schemes are not subject to repeat batch testing requirements. Bet you're wondering about compliance. Compliance for the changes to the supply of veterinary medicines into Northern Ireland come into force on the 1st of January 2026. The usual sales records must be maintained and records will be subject to routine inspections conducted by DAERA colleagues. The following slides have been recorded by DAERA and explain the compliance and inspection aspects for Northern Ireland.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into this VMD webinar, and in particular this component about SQP retailers, where I'll aim to inform you about the recommencement of the Veterinary Medicine Inspection Programme by DAERA in Northern Ireland. If you've already viewed the equivalent webinar aimed at veterinary practice practitioners, then much of what follows will be very familiar. My name is Stephen Nixon, and I've been appointed to the rollout of the programme of veterinary medicine inspections through a new DAERA branch, Authorised Veterinary Medicines Inspection Branch, AVMIB or AVMIB. By way of background, I'm not a veterinary surgeon, but I've worked for DAERA, Danny and Dard for almost 35 years, the vast majority of which has been in inspection and auditing roles, either directly as an inspector or managing a team of inspectors. The overarching aim of the inspection programme is to ensure compliance with the veterinary medicine regulations. If compliance is evident at a premises or realised in a timely fashion, then all the other aims of AVMIB will naturally fall into place. These being to promote safe and effective medicine use by checking that controls are in place for a range of veterinary medicine parameters at retailers, including storage, stock control, cold chain efficacy, and prescriptions. Next is to protect public and animal health, which again will be achieved through checking the recording of the use of medicines so that the public can be assured that residues are highly unlikely to get into the food they consume, and all applicable withdrawal periods are notified to livestock holders. In relation to companion animals, checks in compliance with the prescribing and supply of medicines will help ensure that errors are minimised when veterinary medicines are supplied. Finally, and although it's difficult in 4 brief points to encompass all of the inspection function aims to achieve, supporting continuous improvement will be an important focus, and promoting ongoing improvement on how veterinary medicines are handled and managed within SQP retailers will be to the benefit of all. The scope of the inspections is very broad in relation to many aspects of veterinary medicines at retailers, such as storage, prescribing and documentation, which must be maintained and retained for the supply of POM VPS and NFA VPS medicines. It is proposed to recommence the inspection programme late January or early February in 2026. Now, whilst the inspections at SQP retailers are unannounced, direct and online communication will be used to inform businesses of the recommencement of the programme. This will give businesses time to consider their current practices and documentation to ensure that it is up to date and compliant with the veterinary medicine regulations. As indicated, it's hoped to recommence the inspection programme around late January 2026. A dedicated email box has been set up, vet.med.inspections@daera-ni.gov.uk, to which queries can be sent and a timely response given. The objective is not to catch people or businesses out through these inspections, but if there are non-compliances identified, for businesses to work with commitment towards compliance and within reasonable timeframes. As previously mentioned, the inspection programme covers a broad range of veterinary medicine controls, and these include proper medicine storage, including cleanliness, temperature management, both cold chain and ambient monitoring, record management, which underpins all aspects of veterinary medicine inspection processes. Detailed records need to be maintained on stock control, prescribing, and the supply and use of medicines. SQPs need to have a clear understanding of what checks need to be carried out and what information has to be recorded and retained. The requirements in relation to prescriptions are extensive, and there is a long list of statutory information which must be included when veterinary medicines are prescribed. Many of these are listed in the next slide in the form of a checklist. Labelling of medicines should be clear and precise for the animals to be treated with a dose, special instructions and applicable warnings included. Cross-checking by staff handing over or dispatching the medicine adds a key level of control to this. The underpinning purpose is that the use of veterinary medicines will do good and certainly not cause harm, and hence all checks and controls in prescribing and dispensing medicines are there to ensure that the right medicine at the right dose goes to the right animal. And this is the detailed checklist covering many of the aspects needed for a compliant prescription. So feel free to pause the webinar at this stage to review it in more detail if you wish. The last handful of slides outline how Authorised Veterinary Medicine Inspection Branch plan to deliver the inspection programme over the coming months and years. DAERA have developed an Authorised Veterinary Medicine Inspection app with the assistance of VMD colleagues, and this provides clear parameters for the scope of each inspection, and depending on the activities carried out on each site, the app will guide what needs to be assessed. There's a clear chain of responsibility within DAERA for our work, and close engagement with policy and VMD colleagues is there with the aim to keep pace with any policy or legislative developments going forward. The AVMI app will help to ensure a consistent approach to all inspections, and the proportionate actions are taken depending on the extent of any non-compliance which may be identified. A risk-based approach is factored in following the first inspection at each premises upon recommencement of the programme. This will also help ensure that sufficient and suitable resources are applied to the inspection function. Over the coming months and years, we're committed to ensuring that capable staff are appointed and trained to deliver the work of AVMIP to a high standard. In delivering the work of the branch, DAERA will seek regular stakeholder engagement going forward. And in terms, indeed, of the rollout of the recommenced inspection programme, the use of webinars, social media and direct telephone contact will help inform stakeholders. In engaging with SQP retailers, we will do so in an open and transparent manner, as indicated, engaging directly before inspections take place. We will also welcome and take on board verified feedback from stakeholders. Now, should more formal enforcement action be required as a result of serious or persistent non-compliance identified during inspections, this will be conducted in a transparent and effective manner which stands up to external scrutiny. Authorised Veterinary Medicine Branch is probably one of the youngest branches in DAERA, but we're determined to build on an array of good practice to establish a high quality inspection programme. We will actively seek, adopt and incorporate continuous improvements to help maintain a focus on promoting animal medicine integrity, animal welfare and human health through the programme of inspections we deliver. Thank you for your time and interest.
The VMD have published lots of useful information and guidance covering everything I've mentioned in today's webinar. Please visit the VMD Information Hub on gov.uk, where you will find links to all guidance and communications on current and future regulatory changes regarding the supply of veterinary medicines to Northern Ireland. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact the team using the address on the screen.